Welcome into this edition of Hand Raised Guys, presented by Comer Heating and Air, Southern Air Conditioning and Heating. You probably know us by now. I'm Neal McCready. That's Chase Parham here with you on this Thursday night. The NFL season about to begin here in the next, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 minutes. Kansas City Chiefs, the defending Super Bowl champs, entertaining the Detroit Lions. We'll be with you for a little bit of that. I don't know. Whatever else comes up. Got a full day of stuff at MPW Digital, rebelgrove.com. Neal's picks are up this morning. Let's see. We've got the Butcher versus the Dance Instructor presented by LB's Meat Market. That is up at MPW Digital, as is Pete's Pigskin Preview presented by Riverland Roofing. A little more than an hour of Pete getting you ready for Ole Miss and Tulane, 2:30 in the afternoon on Saturday. Chase will be headed down tomorrow to cover that contest. So we'll have coverage of that at rebelgrove.com. And then I will be I'll be hosting the post-game show. I'll have Pete will join. I think Brian Rippey's going to join. Jeffrey Wright will join. And then hopefully Chase will be in a position where he can join as well from New Orleans. So, again, I'm looking for my reader here. We're brought to you by Comer Heating and Air, Southern Air Conditioning and Heating. There it is. Different names, same great products and services, same great people. If you live in Oxford, Tupelo, Batesville, or the surrounding area, call Comer 662-801-1777. If you live in Hernando, Memphis, or the surrounding area, call Southern 662-429-4429. This will be the Friday Oxford Exxon podcast. Chase, what's going on at the Oxford Exxon?
Oh, get ready for tailgate season. You've had Mercer, but Georgia Tech here in a little more than a week. They've got several different specials for you. They got a special on a couple racks of ribs, slabs of ribs. They got a couple specials on pound of pulled pork. Get side items, got vegetables, got desserts, got coleslaw, potato salad, all the accompaniments that go with your barbecue selections there at the Oxford Exxon. Also, the beer cave's up and running, 34 degrees of chilly goodness for this weekend. If you're just hanging out to watch Ole Miss and Tulane, if you are even checking out whatever NFL full range of Sunday, let them help you out there with the beer cave. But much more there with the Oxford Exxon and all Blue Sky locations throughout Mississippi.
I'm in the Clark Ford studio, so is Chase, of course. Clark Ford studio, Clark Ford's in Amory, Mississippi, 662-257-1900 is that number. Call it. Ask for Corey Clark. Tell Corey what Ford product you're looking for. He'll send you a quote within 15 minutes in business hours, right to the bottom line. No hassle, no haggle. You get your quote. The rest is up to you. You can shop that quote around. You can do what I've done, what I recommend that you do. And that is hop into a Clark Ford today, 662-257-1900. We've got a couple of OEP extras that are headed your way. Gary Smith covers Tulane for NOLA.com. He talked to Chase. That's on the network. I talked to Barstool's Ben Mintz. We talked Ole Miss-Tulane. We talked about the craziness in his life over the last year or so. We also preview the whole NFL slate for week 1. They joined on the Campbell Clinic Hotline. The Campbell Clinic is in Oxford now, 2608 South Lamar Boulevard, Suite 102 in Oxford, just across the street from the cottages at Hooper Hollow. The Campbell Clinic provides full-service orthopedic care. Everything from sports medicine to foot and ankle surgery to spine and total joint care to pediatric orthopedics and physical therapy. To book an appointment, go to campbellclinicoxford.com or call 901-759-3111. Walk-ins always welcome at the Campbell Clinic, Monday through Friday, 7:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. And we're presented by Twisted Tea. Are you ready to elevate your college football game day experience? Check out Twisted Tea, your go-to game day beverage for college football fans. Twisted Tea is unlike any hard beverage you've had before. It's made with real brewed tea, packs a flavorful punch, 5% alcohol, no carbonation, delivering the perfect balance of taste and refreshment that goes down smooth for every game day occasion. There's no need to settle for the usual. Twisted Tea turns up any occasion, especially when you're cheering for your favorite team. Whether you're tailgating in the stadium parking lot, watching at a bar, or hosting friends at home, Twisted Tea is there to elevate game day experience. It perfectly complements your love for college football, your passion for creating unforgettable moments. So let's toast to unforgettable game day experiences. Twisted Tea, the drink that fuels fun and celebrates your love for college football. Keep it twisted.
Yeah, Ole Miss puts out their uniform for Saturday. They are going with the white Sugar Bowl helmets on the white jerseys and white pants. So white for the
It's
the
going to be
Rebels.
very hot. You want to wear as much white as you can.
It's very, very warm. Tulane going with the white helmet, the green wave, the powder blue top, and the white pant this weekend. For
strong uniform game.
It is a very strong uniform
Yep.
game. Tulane has some very good blue, green, white combinations there at their disposal. Frankly, their least the uniform they have that I like the least is their standard, just like kind of Kelly darker green with their white or whatever they're doing.
Yeah, I think I agree with you. The one that they're wearing is the one that I like the most.
You like this one?
The powder blue top with the
white hat.
White hat.
So, yeah, Sugar Bowl helmet, and then white and white. The Sugar Bowl helmet is the one that has the blue stripe on top, and then has kind of the chromatic decals on the side. I don't know how else to explain it, but I think that's the word.
Yeah,
something like that.
It's a very good helmet.
It's a good helmet.
I know the traditionalists don't like it, but it is what it is. You can't please
red Ole Miss script with blue outline is what it is.
Yeah. One thing I've learned is that there is no way to please everyone. Can't be done.
Ole Miss has already told you they're going to wear 12 different or 13 different combinations this entire season, just as they did last year. Did they repeat once last year? Maybe.
I don't think so.
They have all different last year too.
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe that's what it was. We could predict the last game because there was one obvious combination they had not worn.
I couldn't tell you what they wore in the bowl game.
I don't remember.
If you put a gun to my head right now and said, "What did Ole Miss wear in the bowl game?" I'd say, "Just shoot me."
We know they didn't go traditional uniform against LSU. We remember that. They wore powder
down there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They didn't go red, the normal, what we're used to
right.
seeing for Ole Miss and LSU.
It's 2 years in a row they've gone powder against LSU, which tells me that I bet they go powder against LSU again.
You think so?
Be my bet.
What game is going to get their traditional gray pant?
ULM.
Navy hat, red jersey, gray pant.
ULM.
Will we see the Navy jersey at all?
Yes.
Yes.
Navy jersey will be seen against Georgia Tech.
Oh, next week. You think so?
Yep.
Okay.
Get it out of the way.
All right. That's fine.
I do think it's a fairly smart marketing campaign. The only thing I'm going to say about the uniforms is if you're going to make the uniforms a big part of your program, you've got to put a damn blue stripe on those white pants. I mean,
it's a very simple thing to just solve this
You
thing.
just do. I mean, that has to be done.
Call
sorry.
Nike and go, hey, I got one favor.
Yeah.
Or not, I'm going to take it on down to the shop myself and just get
we're going to do it ourselves. We're going to sew them in. I mean, we're going to put a powder blue stripe that matches the powder blue jersey and call it a day. They wore red against LSU last year, according to Marine Rebel. I don't know.
Oh, they did? I did not remember that for some reason. Okay, I'm wrong.
I'm into uniforms, but if you ask me what did someone wear, I'm like, I don't know.
Okay, I missed that. Maybe I'm just bleeding 2 years ago into this.
Yeah,
white on red on white last week for Mercer. I do remember at least what they had on Saturday.
And it was fine.
Yeah, it was the correct Mercer uniform. Ole Miss got its SEC basketball schedule today for the men. They opened conference play in Knoxville, Tennessee. I know. Go ahead and get your pitchforks ready. They always start on the road. I know. They do. You're still going to play 8-8.
You're going to play
8-8.
9 home games, 9 away games.
Oh, it's not. Yeah, it's 9.
You're going to play 18 games. I've never.
But they're trying to get you off on a bad start, Neal. When they play on the road like this, what happens is you always start 0-1 and you're just constantly coming back.
But you finish at home. So if the home game really matters at the end, if the game matters at the end, it's at home. This is.
And if you could have a good slate finishing, it was what I noticed about the schedule from a location standpoint. Their last 5 games. Oxford, Columbia, Missouri, Athens, Oxford. If you're at all in it,
I mean,
that's a pretty good close right there.
It's pretty favorable.
It's a pretty good close. Kentucky just once. It's in Lexington.
Arkansas just once. It's at home.
Okay.
I mean,
Auburn a couple times, Carolina a couple times.
I'm sorry, but listen, anybody that does they're out to get us thing, nope. Read the schedule. They're not out to get you.
No, it's a pretty good schedule.
If anything, they're trying to help you.
That's a pretty good schedule.
Yes. I mean, no conspiracy. I will not hear it. I will fight back on it. That is you deciding that woe is me and that everyone's out to get me.
2 back-to-back road weeks, or at least road games in a row. They're at Carolina and at Kentucky early February. There's actually, though, an off date in between that. It's Tuesday to Tuesday.
It's pretty favorable.
And then they've got an at LSU, at Auburn, back-to-back in a 3-day period on a Wednesday to Saturday in January. But that's about it. Otherwise, it's pretty good.
I'm sorry. That's an A schedule. It is. You got to play hard games. It's a tough league.
There's league. I mean, yeah.
You know, I mean, you don't get to schedule ULM and Troy in SEC play. It just doesn't work like that. So you're going to play games. You're going to play 9 at home, 9 on the road. All right. Nope.
4 Tuesdays, some Wednesdays. Yeah, it's
fine.
It's
not bad. Fine. Nobody was out to get them.
Speaking of out to get, yes, Mac Brown is quite pissed off today. As
he is.
You know, I saw the reaction. Okay, we're conditioned. We're conditioned to just hate the NCAA. It's easy.
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah.
I still hate the NCAA. I'm not about to go on some freedom-bonding mission here in the next few minutes. What?
No. Hit and run.
Yeah, I walked in and Neal was yelling at the umpire.
Oh, he's out.
And then, well, he's definitely out now. Oh, okay, stop chasing him. He's out. You don't have to chase him.
Knock him down.
You don't have to chase him. He's already out.
Knock him down. He might.
We're watching Cubs Diamondbacks on TV too, as the Cubs are chasing an NL Central crown right now.
We are. We could pull within 1 game of the lead with the win tonight.
I did notice a stat the other day, and I don't even know the year that it was, so pardon me as I give a half stat here. But the Cubs with a better run differential than a few seasons ago when they won like 97 regular season games. They actually have a higher run differential this season at like 10, 12 games over 500.
You want to hear a super random stat?
Why not?
Since July the 17th, they're the best team in baseball.
Well, I mean, the Braves can't even beat the damn Cardinals. So, I mean, it's
since July 17th. I mean, that's random as hell. But since that date, they're the best team in baseball.
Is that true?
Yeah. They have the best record in baseball since July the 17th.
I mean, I'm going to get back to my football thing in Mac Brown in a second, but why?
Why do they have the best record?
No, like what happened? Like what?
I don't know.
What allowed that to?
I don't know what the genesis of that date was.
Well, no, why are they better in July since then? Like, why do they suck early? Like, why is the team better? No.
They've had some comebacks. They've pitched better. Their bullpen's been better. I don't know. You know, why do baseball teams win? They pitch better and hit better. Play with some confidence. Bullpen's been good. This guy on the mound, Javier Assad's been good. They've just Cody Bellinger's got back and played at an MVP level for the last 2 months. There's a question about the Chiefs. Let's see. The Chiefs uniforms are good. Do you like the home red or white or the away white on red? Okay, so the Chiefs, I do not like when they wear the red pants. When they wear the white top with the white pants, it's fantastic. And when they wear the red top with the white pants, it's fantastic. I don't like their red pants.
Yes. I had to think about it.
That's my take on Chiefs uniforms. I don't like red pants. The red top, fantastic. The white top, even better.
Okay. Yeah, I'm with you on that one. So what are they doing tonight? Oh, they're just different.
Yeah, then they're traditional. There's just the question was which did I like better?
Yeah,
the home or the away. I think they overthink the away sometimes when they go with the red pant.
I stumbled on this while I was talking to somebody today. Speaking of Ole Miss headed down to Tulane, I was trying to figure. We were discussing the fact the first time Ole Miss has played at Yeoman Stadium since they opened in 2014.
Yeah.
In 1974, Ole Miss played in Tulane's last game at Tulane Field or whatever it was called before the Superdome, and Tulane's first game in the Superdome the next season.
Really?
In 75.
Oh, how about that?
So they finished up the previous place and then opened the dome from a Tulane standpoint.
So is this the biggest home game for Tulane in that stadium?
Depending on how you want to factor in the fact that they had the conference championship last year at home.
Against UCF.
Correct. They played UCF at home. Regular season, yeah, because it would have been UCF in the regular season otherwise. They have not won I want to say, if I had Gary's stat right today, if I'm correct, they have not beaten. What was it? What was it he said? I don't think they've won a ranked-on-ranked game since the 1970s.
Oh. This feels like the
Power 5 or whatever.
This feels like the most celebrated game.
What we were discussing that was what stuck me was the 6 weeks that there are 6 games in a row that Tulane has had. I don't even know who they play. They play Southern Miss next week. It's going to feel like probably a letdown after what's happened because they got beat by UCF in the regular season at home in like November 12th of last year. They hammered SMU the next week to kind of get back in the picture a little bit. They go to Cincinnati and win. Huge game for their program. Go up there and beat the back-to-back American Athletic Conference champions. Come back home, beat you. That clinches a berth in the title game. They beat UCF, get the revenge off that. Then go win the Cotton Bowl against Caleb Williams and USC. Play South Al and a Sun Belt favorite in this huge opening weekend, and now get Ole Miss. They've had just 6 straight games of something to it. And then after this, it's kind of like, okay, now go get into your schedule and settle in.
I mean, look, I'm on record. I think Tulane's losing and losing big on Saturday. But if somehow Tulane wins on Saturday, there's not a lot left on their schedule that is all that intimidating.
The 9.5 on the over feels really good right now.
No, you'd crush that.
He was concerned for Tulane's sake about their run game. He said that with Spears out, that Pratt really masked it, but that nobody stepped up on Saturday. He thought if this thing turns really ugly for Ole Miss, it is about Tulane being just unable to run the football at all because they haven't had a back to step up.
Yeah, and I just don't know that I believe an American Conference team going one-dimensional beats an SEC team. I just don't. Especially an upper half SEC
where they
team.
Start just having to throw it around. And
I think Ole Miss is going to score points.
He thought Ole Miss was going to score points.
I do too. I've said this all summer. If I'm dead wrong.
Again, I'm not giving away the entire podcast. Go listen. It's only like 20-something minutes. But basically said, hey, what happens if whatever, what do you got to look for? And he's like, Tulane to score because, especially with Platt out for Tulane.
Right.
Ole Miss is going to score. And it's just.
I've said this since the summer. I don't think this is a close game. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. It won't be the first time. It won't be the last. I'll own it. I'll show up on Monday morning and go, missed it. But I don't think I am.
And there's no way Pratt's 100%.
No, of course not.
They're going to put enough injection in him that could kill a small horse. But, I mean.
He's a hell of a player. I'm a big fan of his. I'm a big fan of what I love watching him play. He made some throws in that Cotton Bowl last year that really aren't appreciated enough. Big time throws. He's a great player.
Only a junior. Come back next year.
Rephrase. He's a great college player.
Yeah, sure.
And that's cool. And he stayed there. He could have left. And he stayed. You don't think Pratt would have had some offers, do you? To go elsewhere? He stayed, and I think that's a cool story.
Yeah, Luke asking, yes, Corey Platt, the big-time linebacker for Tulane. He had 15 tackles in less than 3 quarters on Saturday. He is. They have not officially said this, but all indications are he tore his Achilles.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah, that's the word they're thinking on the injury. Yeah, Platt, not Pratt.
Right.
Corey Platt, the linebacker, not Michael Pratt, the quarterback.
I just hate to see players get hurt. I really do. I mean, I know that's not the fans cheer for injuries, but they're like, oh, I'm glad he's out. I don't ever like getting players out because they put so much work into getting ready for a season. And then you go down in the first game. That sucks. I mean, if you think about that from his perspective, forget
all this work.
Forget the Ole Miss game. Just forget it for a minute. He spends all of January through May doing spring and all the crap you do, and then you go through the hell of summer. Can you imagine how hot it is in New Orleans and some of the stuff they do? And then he gets to play one game. One game? Man, that sucks. That sucks.
It was his first career start.
This sucks. I hate that. Like, that's the kind of stuff that kind of makes me almost depressed about it. I always just, like, people say, what do you cheer for? I cheer for the clock, usually. And I cheer for nobody to get hurt. I hate the injuries. Just because the amount of time that kids put in getting ready for a season. An incredible amount of time.
If you want to jump on some over-unders, if you have some kind of college fantasy, Judkin's probably a pretty good pick. Everything that I've heard, even beyond anything Gary said, they're really thin now at linebacker. They essentially have two. And in that heat, the depth, the plays are going to run. Tulane, more than anything else, is worried about the tempo that Ole Miss is going to run. They haven't seen a lot of it. They haven't adjusted to it.
In that heat?
It killed them in 21. They just never were able to adapt to corral and that tempo whatsoever. Apparently, Fritz is very, very worried about the tempo on Saturday, and because they have no depth at linebacker, they're going to have two guys, and those guys are going to have to just play. And that's when you start losing eyes on Judkins, and it kind of as the game is getting closer, the mountain feels taller and taller.
Because it is taller.
Yeah,
I'll lay the 7.5, and just, if I'm wrong, I'll eat it.
Yeah. I mean, the kid that I was looking for his name because I don't even see it. The kid that is starting in Platt's place was a walk-on at LSU that transferred to Tulane.
Oh, okay.
But I don't recall his name off the top.
Probably not a great sign.
That I don't know his name, or that he transferred from LSU to Tulane.
Both.
Okay.
For them, probably not the best sign.
Whichever way you want to take that, that's fine. So, Mac Brown, sorry.
So the NFL season is
officially
underway.
Ball is in the air.
So we're on YouTube TV. So if we're late, we're late.
Are we going to be late?
I don't know how much late YouTube TV is to say direct TV, or if you had standard cable. Lions going in the all whites. You like the Lion uniform there? See, I sort of missed their silver pants.
Oh, do you really?
This is a new look for them.
I think I do too, and I would have just simply said that's a really clean white on white look until you made me think about it. But yeah, I think I missed the silver too.
All right, they're going with the Ole Miss pant.
No stripe.
Plain white. Long underwear.
I mean, if the Lions can do it.
Can you call a plain white pant the Ole Miss pant?
If you can call the trademark Ole Miss uniform pattern the UCLA stripe, yes, that is
so
correct.
Detroit Lions wearing the Ole Miss pant.
It's never put an entire press box in just silence before. It was that day. It was I like the guy, so I'm not going to use his name, but he's in there. He is railing on the uniforms, just railing and railing and railing. What is Ole Miss doing? This is so stupid. You see those uniforms and you know it's Ole Miss and blah, blah, blah. And somebody else goes, it was Bill Bunning. He was still here. And he goes, so what is it about the uniforms? When you see the UCLA stripe, it's Ole Miss. I went, whoa.
So no, that's when I know it's UCLA.
Hold on. Whoa. So there is a local angle to this because we still know nothing about Brandon Murray, about Cisse as far as a basketball standpoint and what's possible here. These two-time transfers are not having much luck so far with the NCAA whatsoever.
No, there's no reason. There's no cause for optimism yet.
Walker appeared to have documentation from a mental health standpoint, which is the one thing that they have been very key about. Could be a possibility to get you the two-time waiver.
Yeah.
But he had been at two previous schools, NC Central, North Carolina Central, and Kent State. Both those schools had filed waivers on his behalf, saying, yes, he absolutely should be eligible. They had no issues whatsoever. Never even played at the first school because of the pandemic canceling the season. So he's only even played at Kent State. They denied that waiver. They had appealed. They have now denied the appeal as well. And Mac Brown went on a crusade today in a press release. I won't read the entire thing, but he starts off saying, we're absolutely crushed to learn that Tez Walker's eligibility has been denied for the season and he won't be able to play. I don't know that I've ever been more disappointed in a person, a group of people, or an institution than I am with the NCAA right now. It's clear that the NCAA is about process and it couldn't care less about the young people it's supposed to be supporting, plain and simple. The NCAA has failed Tez and his family, and I've lost all faith in its ability to lead and govern our sport. They've messed so many things up as it relates to college football, and now their failures have negatively impacted the life of one of our own. Scrolling down to the decision makers of the NCAA and on the committee should be ashamed of themselves for doing this to a young man. As has been clearly documented, Tez should be eligible for a number of reasons, not the least of which is mental health issues he's faced. And with this decision, the NCAA has placed an unnecessary burden on him. He's had a rough go of it, blah, 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 blah. It makes no sense and never will. How dare they ever speak about mental health and student-athlete welfare again? We've got complete rosters overhauled through the transfer portal, players playing in their 8th year of college, players at their 4th school, and the list goes on. Yet he isn't eligible. Again, it makes no sense and it never will. And then he finishes with shame on you, NCAA, shame on you, Mack Brown, North Carolina head football coach.
Well,
okay. He's defending his kid.
Hell of a strong statement.
Defending his kid.
Yeah. By the way, thanks to Marine Rebel for the super chat. He says, if this makes sense, YouTube TV is usually about 2 pitches behind. Okay.
Oh, okay.
So 40 seconds.
Will play well to his constituents. His job is to support his people and the people in Carolina Blue.
Sure.
And I get it. Because in some ways, anytime there is a rule, why? Because if we're paying over the table, we're doing all these different things. You don't have contracts. We have no ability to keep kids in places. Why this? What is your mountain on a molehill?
Yeah.
At the same time, they keep asking the NCAA to do anything, and the NCAA does something, and now you're bitching about that. There is part of me that sort of goes, hand raised, but you guys are all saying you want some rules.
Yeah.
So now they enforce a rule,
yep,
and you're mad about it.
You're mad because they enforced a rule.
So what do you want to do? Do you want it to be just wide open, or you got a problem with this situation?
Here's the thing.
I'm a little mixed. I'm having a hard time completely.
I don't know the kid. I don't know the kid's story. Here's the thing, though. In today's, this is the way I view it. I really do. I've had this debate with some people, and I've decided that I think I'm right, even though my stance on this is kind of hardline. Okay.
Okay. Yeah, I got it.
You either let guys transfer unlimited, or you put a rule on it. And the rule has no waivers.
No mental health,
nothing. And it's not because and I'm a mental health guy, but it's just, but you can manipulate that. And if your mental health is really that bad, is it going to be bad for you to sit out a year? I don't know. I just think you either let guys transfer unlimited, whatever the hell, or you put a rule on it. And come up with a rule and make it a uniform rule, and that's the rule. Maybe they can transfer twice. Maybe they can, if you transfer, you can't transfer for 2 more years. Whatever the hell it is. Come up with the rule, make that the rule, and make it a uniform rule. Or else, everybody can just transfer every year and just be done with it. And call it what it is, which is, this is stupid, this is free agency, but this is where we are. We're pro player, and that's the way it is. To me, those are your choices. Now, which choice do I think is the better choice? Obviously, I have an opinion, but I think those are your choices. I'm not trying to judge the choices and rank them in list of which is.
So you don't like this arbitrary, we're going to look at the data and make this weird line of where we cut it and don't cut it. And,
I really don't.
Because you start getting in the minutia. What's going to happen is they're going to let some cat in at some point, and then everybody doesn't get in and goes, well, okay, let me see. How does that differ?
Right.
What are we doing? What is the...
Right.
So you need, do I need 90 days of mental health, not 75? Do I need 82? Do I need 68? What about that cat?
Bingo. And then when the kid that transferred to Alabama gets cleared, everybody goes, oh, see, preferential treatment. No, screw it. Have a rule or no rule. Just make it uniform. And it is what it is at that point. I'm not saying this is good because, my opinion is that transfer should sit a year. I think that would slow down all of the craziness. But if you're going to allow the craziness, well, then just allow it. And hope that happy kids don't leave, and understand that kids are going to go to the highest bidder and that there's going to be all sorts of crazy, and it just is what it is. I'm kind of being pragmatic here, Chase. I think what I'm saying is pretty pragmatic. It's just this. If I go, okay, well, this kid, his mental issue is pretty legitimate, but this kid, we're not so sure that his mental issue. How do you do that?
Well, and then you're also leaving it up to the people around him to document it correctly. I mean, you know what I mean? That becomes a paperwork challenge.
Right. So how do you do that?
Who has the best attorney? I mean,
that's where you're going. Who has? I don't. It doesn't work. Look, I don't blame Mac Brown, like you said. He's fighting. He's fighting for his kid and playing to his constituents, and they will love it.
Yeah, no problem.
Cool, good enough. It's like being a politician.
Yeah, sure, whatever.
But you tell the NCAA enforce the rule, and then they enforce the rule, and then you get pissed off that they enforce the rule. Well, then take the rule away. Okay, well then, Neal, everyone's going to leave. Everyone's okay. Well, I mean, what do you want to do? Y'all have opened up this Pandora's box. You've got to either figure out how you're going to close part of the box or just open the damn thing up. Let it be.
Because what's going to happen is if they deny every damn body or almost everybody, there's going to be some pause next year when that second-time transfer goes, well,
right.
I don't know.
Right. As opposed to
they're putting the book down.
As opposed to if you open it wide open, he's like, so what do I need to do? Go to a therapist for a couple of days?
Yeah. What's the deal?
I mean, what do I need to do? Call, no offense, because you guys are awesome. BetterHelp?
Yeah, right. Yeah.
What do I need to do?
If I get a month subscription, does that cover it? We cool?
Yeah, I went to BetterHelp. I went to eight sessions.
Yeah. She recommended that.
She said that, I really need to go home.
Yeah.
Or 75 miles from home. Right. I mean, whatever. The Joe Burrow deal. Did it get done?
5 for $275.
$219 guaranteed. I knew it was close reading the Athletic today. I don't know, man.
Or you just require contracts?
I mean, maybe
2-year deal.
I'm not sure exactly how that works, but maybe that's the route you go. Maybe that's the route you go. You commit everybody to it. Hey, you're committed for 2 years, or you're committed for 3 years. Both ways.
Or you choose it.
And if the kid's bad and you busted, hey, you're on the hook for 3 years. You shouldn't have evaluated him the way you did. You can't process him. Or you can, but you got to pay him for 3 years, and he counts against your 85.
If Derek Carr sucks, Saints still, what it is.
Yeah, sure. Absolutely. Right? I mean, someone's going to give Shohei Ohtani $600 million, and if he can't pitch, well, wasn't the best deal in the world.
Well, my boy, thanks for jumping in the Super Chats. It's good seeing y'all. In your view, what is the weakest part of the football team? I would think tight end. Are you doing a live show in the square for the Georgia Tech game? Not that I'm aware of. And if so, where? I got a jar of shine for both of you. If so, well, I mean, we can work out the shine even if we don't get the game figured out. Look, right now, tight end is very, very relevant. It's Michael Trigg and Kyron Heath, and that's it.
The weakest spot on the roster is linebacker.
Overall, yeah.
Because Prescorn's coming back.
You got to get there, but yeah.
Yeah. A live show on the square. I wouldn't even know how to get started with that.
It would require someone to say, just show up. That's all you have to do is show up.
Yeah, I'd have to.
Literally, show up.
Guys someone would have to. Here's how that would happen.
Yeah.
Somebody would have to pay my guys from the vault $2,000 to set it up, and then we would just show up. That's how it would work. I clearly don't have the technical capability to set that up.
Got the ping to go away.
I did.
I haven't heard it once.
It's gone for now.
I find myself really rooting for Detroit in this football game, by the way.
Oh, God, me too. I'm all Lions right now.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. I just glancing up occasionally going.
I do love their jersey.
It's a good jersey.
It's a good jersey. It's almost like white, silver, and powder blue is a good combination.
Andy looks frustrated and really going for a 0-0 game.
Oh, was this a fake punt? Oh.
From their own 16 or something?
It's kind of Lane Kiffinish. Yeah.
The punter give a fist pump or anything? What's he got? Nothing?
Yeah,
Nothing?
Nothing?
Yeah, he was about, okay. We just missed it. Yeah, he was about to fist pump. Okay.
Oh. Special teams coach is angry?
He was not happy.
No. It's a big play. halfway
I
through
mean,
the-
special teams coach does have literally one job. It's not that. His job is to stop that. I mean, special team coach is not out there helping the kicker with technique every 2 minutes. It's that.
Sip Rep says Tino's a tech guy now. No, sir.
He's going to moonlight for what is what's the Genius Squad or whatever that drives the car around, helps by with all their IT stuff.
The
what's it called?
Best Buy,
whatever those.
The Geek Squad.
Yeah, Geek Squad. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's 3-0 Diamondbacks over Cubs in the fourth. You're obviously sitting here for a little while doing this. Will you turn it off at some point if they're down 3-0, or does that keep you for 9 innings?
Yeah, I'll watch for a while. I mean, I'm not gonna hold it. If they dare lose a game, I'm not gonna lose my mind.
Yeah.
And the Diamondbacks are good.
That's a good player right there.
And this kid pitching, his name is spelled Ryne, so the odds are one of his parents is a Cubs fan. That kind of pisses me off a little bit, but I'll get over it.
When they're not signing, they're getting drafted.
They're getting drafted.
Not like it's. There is a good chance, though.
So if you sign college players to a contract, can you trade them? If it's pro sports.
Would anything shock you in 5 years? Anything? No, I mean, seriously.
Okay.
Because 5 years ago.
Okay. The answer to your question is, if you could trade a college player, would that shock me? Yes.
10 years?
I don't know.
Okay, here's the thing.
Okay, Chase, here's the deal. Hold on one second. I'm not fighting you here. We generally agree. But if you can trade a player, he's no longer even in college. So at that point,
all of the registrar offices are going, oh, my God.
Okay, my daughter Caroline's a junior. She's a junior. So let's take the football out of it for a minute. She's right now in a finance course that is requiring tutoring. It's hard.
Yeah.
If she gets traded from the University of Arkansas to the University of Kentucky, does she transfer the grade that she has right now in finance? How does that work? So how do you do that with football players? The answer is, at that point,
she could transfer as a student to the University of Kentucky.
In the middle of the semester?
No.
Okay.
So, only at the end of semesters. You can't be in-season traded.
Okay. Regardless, when you do that, I think you have to admit that you've become a club. You're like a soccer club. You're not athletes anymore. I mean, you're not students anymore. You're just athletes. You're under contract to play football for a club that is contracted through the University of Mississippi or the University of Georgia or the University of Missouri or whatever.
You're a third-party entity that is associated with the.
You're a contractor. You're a private contractor that is playing for a club that is contracted through the University of Mississippi, the University of Texas, whatever the case may be.
What about when revenue sharing kicks in and the players are getting 10, 20% of the revenue cross board?
I mean, okay.
Suddenly.
Yeah, I mean, but again, are we willing to go to a place where they're not students?
Are we willing to go to a place?
I'm asking.
Are we willing to go to a place?
Okay, so then if we are,
the Pac-12 has 2 members.
What is the fan reaction to they're not students anymore?
Well, it's horrid, but it's
because part of the draw, right?
Because they do the same thing we do. We all go into that class, that building.
Yeah. So forgive me for a minute. I'm doing an Arkansas thing, but only because it's my daughter and we're talking about her. What is her connection to the football team today? She knows the kicker. He's in her finance class. Okay. They're friends.
Yeah.
Right? Isn't that the connection that a lot of people have? Like, you hear people coming back to go, yeah, I went to school I was in a class with Deuce. I was in a class with Romero. I was in a class with Eli, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, if that's no longer the case, what's the connection? They wear my laundry? Okay, well, now it's pro sports. But the difference is, in pro sports, guys play for the same team for a period of years. Patrick Mahomes has been a Chiefs for a while. If Patrick Mahomes could leave the Chiefs and go to a new team every year and make more and more money, would the Chief fans be enamored with Patrick Mahomes?
Not the same
Would there be little kids all over Kansas City wearing number 15? Dude, this doesn't work. I'm surprised more people can't see this. It doesn't work. The whole thing, I can tear it apart. I can sit here on a hand raise, guys, drinking a beer and tear this whole thing apart. It doesn't work.
What is that?
It's a two-hearted ale.
Yeah.
It doesn't work. Nobody would sign up for that. I mean, your hardcore fan would, but your middle core fan would go, "No, I'm good. I'm out."
So what's the next thing?
I don't know, man.
We've done the realignment now. What's next?
I don't know.
Is it revenue share?
I mean, sure.
But again, if it is, when everything's club sport, even that.
It's a club sports. But how do you do revenue share?
This is one. This is one. And this came from somebody who was fairly knowledgeable, third party, but we'll count it. That believes revenue sharing is on the way, that it's going to happen. It's coming.
Okay.
And when that happens, most programs will fund in an athletic department way 2 sports, football and men's basketball. That everything else is club. They'll field teams, they'll have competitions, but they will not have the resources that the other 2 sports have because of the way the revenue works. Again, this is knowledgeable. This is not an idiot. This is not somebody. This is real.
I'm listening.
Because I want to fight it immediately. I go, do you understand? Just saying. What's the fan reaction to that? Are you as much of a football fan when you realize that football has killed every other sport on campus but men's basketball?
No.
That we're in a place where at most schools, baseball is no longer even instead of it being Mike Bianco making $1.6 million, it's some dude who was at the junior college is now making $75,000 to do the baseball as a club sport.
Of course not. And think of the opportunities that you're taking away from softball, soccer, track, golf, tennis. The opportunities across the board that you're taking away so that what? If I do the elementary school thing and go, what for? Dad, what for? What's the answer? What for? What's the answer to that question?
And at what point it's become, no, the cuts have to all come in the bloat in the athletic departments instead?
I mean, it's a fair question. But if I ask you the question, what for? So they killed the tennis programs. What for?
So the football team can make money.
How much money?
I don't know. Whatever
Yeah,
the
I know.
number is.
I mean, no, the answer is, does anyone sign up for that? The answer, no, most people don't sign up for that. The hardcore fan signs up for that. That's it.
So
it's not, Chase, it's not pro sports.
So at what point is the person who actually likes college athletics going to get the say and be in charge?
I don't know.
Because it's not right now.
No. Everything
TV execs do not like college sports.
No, they just like football and some men's basketball.
And only then, though, because it feels a requirement.
Yeah, and only then for about a month and a half because they get the tournament. The tournament's a moneymaker. It's why I push back about the pro sports thing to the point that people are like, I'm tired of the argument. I'm like, yeah, no, but nobody hears it. It's not pro sports. And I can show you how it's not pro sports. Pro sports have a negotiated labor agreement. There was a question in the mailbag about, hey, how come Terrence Davis is having a hard time finding a team? Well, it's because
there's an answer.
The owners and the Players Association negotiated a new labor agreement. And in that labor agreement, they have salary aprons and caps and levels, and it's very complicated. But the bottom line is they made it where the mid-level player, and Terrence is one of those, is kind of getting squeezed out unless he's willing to take less money. At which point, if he were to call his agent today and say, hey, I made $4 million last year, I'll play for $2 million. Oh, he'll get a deal. He'll get a deal tomorrow. But if he wants 8 or 9, he's not going to get that deal. Why? Because the CBA is such, and it was negotiated, right? It was the CBA is such that the team that pays him $10 million, and that $10 million puts them over the tax. Well, his $10 million now is really $20 million. And they don't want to do that. They're better off giving a rookie scale deal. So that's pro sports. You don't have any of that in college sports until you add that stuff, at which point you're not college sports anymore, you're pro sports. I'm not wrong. I wish I were wrong because I don't like the damage that they're kind of starting to think about doing to the sport. But it's not pro sports. Pro sports have labor agreements. Every pro sport, from the NHL to Major League Baseball to the National Football League to the NBA, and I'm sure maybe even MLS, I don't know. They have unions. They have representation that negotiates a collective bargaining agreement that has a term on it for 6 years or 4 years or 8 years or whatever, and then they have to renegotiate a new deal. And if they don't get the deal done, the players go on strike or hold out or they get locked out. We've seen all that in pro sports until they negotiate a new CBA. Dansby Swanson at the plate right now has a contract. This is the first year of a 7-year contract that pays him like $177 million. That's his contract. If he plays above that contract, that's still what he gets. If he plays below that contract, that's still what he gets. If Dansby Swanson could get out of the contract and just leave at the end of this year because, hey, I'm worth more than $17 million a year, well, that's why would you see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Seiya Suzuki's at the plate. He has a 5-year contract. This is like year 3 of a 5-year contract, or year 2, I guess, of a 5-year contract. He has a deal in place that pays him X amount of money. But the Cubs could trade him. So if you sign a player to a contract at Ole Miss, for example, and you decide that, hey, we need to move that player, could you trade running back X to Dayton for cash considerations? How's that work?
Yeah. Pending physical and transcript acceptance.
I mean, how does it work?
Yeah, because, I mean, and the schools it's just so stupid. Because, yeah, I mean, a kid who's been at Montana Tech goes, well, okay, I got traded to Arkansas. Now I'm in the Walton School of Business, or I'm going to Wharton. Like, I'm going to Penn. Like, hey.
So how does that work? How do you transfer all of his credits when he gets traded? What if he was in an ag school and he gets traded to a school that doesn't have an ag school?
Well, we actually did just see that.
We did.
It worked, sort of.
Touche. It's just dumb, man. It's dumb.
Yes, Kim Mulkey got paid $32 million for what it could end up being a club sport in 10 years.
Yeah.
Damnedest thing. Is tennis and golf funded by the university's athletic departments in 10 years?
My guess, no.
You think no?
I mean, it's more of a guess than it is
I
a think.
That's a run.
Yeah.
3-1.
Yeah.
Inching back here in the 5th.
Yeah, competing. This team's come back a lot. We'll see.
It's not over.
No, they're not done. Bloop and a blast now, and you're tied.
First Cub with 13 extra base hits in a 13-game span since Javi Baez in 18. Just that for you.
I don't know where it's going. Here's the thing: is there's a lot of people in athletics that are athletic administration who are very unhappy. They don't really know how to express it because it's so politically incorrect to say, "Hey, I don't like this system." Which brings you back to the whole Mac Brown thing, where if the NCAA doesn't stand up to something, then there are no rules. And if there are no rules, well,
we hate when there's no rules, and we hate when there's a lot of rules.
And so I think you either have to have rules that you enforce or no rules. And someone says, well, that would be chaos. Well, kind of chaos now, isn't it? I mean, I get what they're saying, by the way. I totally understand. I'm not criticizing. Someone in the stream said, well, that would be chaos. It's kind of chaos now.
What is happening at the U.S. Open?
I don't know.
Something's going on. There's a 45-minute delay now.
Is there a shooting or something?
No, it's not a shooting, but something is. I'm from Richard Deesh, who works for The Athletic now, I think. For any lawyers out there, what type of charge is someone looking at for disrupting the U.S. Open by protest / refusing to sit down / gluing yourself to the floor below your seat?
Oh, one of those people.
Yeah. And apparently we're in delay now because of whatever this is or isn't. Crazy. Okay. Yeah, as Jeff Duncan says, it's been quite the good 5 years for Joe Burrow. 5 years ago this week, he was competing for the starting quarterback job at LSU with Lowell Narcisse and Justin McMillan.
He's living a charmed life.
Yeah.
Do you see this players on active NFL rosters starting the season?
No.
All right, so you guys, you want to know what matters? Produce NFL players. Ready for this? Alabama 57, Georgia 49, Ohio State 48, LSU 43, Michigan 38, Clemson 37, Florida 35. It's a bit of a surprise. Notre Dame, Penn State 34, Oklahoma 32, Texas 30, Iowa 29, USC and Washington 27, Auburn 26, Oregon 25, Stanford 24, Ole Miss and Texas A&M 23, UCLA 22, South Carolina, Tennessee, Wisconsin have 21, Miami has 20, Pitt and TCU have 19, Cincinnati, NC State, Virginia Tech have 18, Kentucky 17, Florida State only 16, along with Illinois, Michigan State, North Carolina, Arkansas, BYU, Maryland, Mississippi State, Nebraska, and Utah have 15. Houston, Minnesota, Oklahoma State have 14.
Oklahoma State is 14. Okay.
Baylor, Boston College, Missouri, and Purdue have 13. Cal, Kansas State, Northwestern, UCF, and Wake Forest have 12. Iowa State, Memphis, and San Diego State have 11. Boise State, Duke, Louisville, Oregon State have 10. Everybody else has less than 10. So there you go. Putting players in the NFL is usually a sign of success. Breaking.
That matters. Recruiting matters. It's the worst hot take in sports. You get to draft night and this who star gets drafted, and all the other idiots go, see? It's like, oh, shut up.
The protester is wearing a watch McCready and Siskey tee. I doubt that, but good for them. I mean, but I'm not going to belabor it. I don't think you can make them employees. I don't think you can trade them. So it's never going to be a pro sport. So they've got to figure out what they are. I think that's where college athletics is today. What are we? And then at some point you have to put your foot down and go, maybe we're not for everyone. Maybe we're not for everyone.
Yeah, what are we conversation
needs to be had.
Yeah, no problem with that at all.
Sit around the table and go, what are we? And maybe you change some of the rules, for example. Maybe you make the rule where, hey, look, if you're a football player and you want to go pro after 1 year, 2 years, go pro. You can go pro. You're not trapped here. You can go pro. I know you don't like that, but that's a solution.
Yeah, sure. I get it.
You can go pro. You're a basketball player right now. You can go pro after 1 year. What's the difference between basketball and football? What is the difference? I mean, I don't even know what that is. Maybe you say, hey, if you don't like this system, okay, fair enough, declare for the NFL. Now, will there be people that destroy their lives doing that? Of course.
Yeah, and see, I have no problem with that. You made the decision.
Right.
Not my problem.
Right. But I do think there has to be the conversation where the smart people sit around the room. No. Let me rephrase that. Not the smart people. The common sense people get in the room and go, hey, let's decide who we are. What are we moving forward?
Yeah, I'm good with that. And yet here we are.
Just what are we? That's it. What are we doing? We're a restaurant. Are we serving steak? Or are we serving burgers? Are we serving everything? Are we like a
fusion? Got all the stuff.
What's the one that everybody goes to? The Cheesecake Factory?
Yeah.
Are we going to have kind of everything? Or are we going to specialize in something? What are we? And then come out with a template and go, this is the template. These are the rules. Because you've already gotten where you can pay the players. I think everybody's for that. Players can go get, it's not even NIL, it's pay for play. There's really no limit on it. You can go get however much you want to get. That's cool. And we allow one transfer without penalty. To date, those are the rules. And everyone keeps pressing the rules. So at some point, you put a line in the sand and go, that's it. This is the line. Or you don't. And at which point you just go, hey, it's going to be chaos. And that's what it is. And it's cool.
U.S. Open about to resume. It said it took about 35 minutes from the start of the disruption, protest, whatever you want to call it.
Chiefs score early seconds now, 7, pending a PAT 7-7.
Yeah, they weren't out of it.
Oh, no.
So, interesting night, internet-wise. Olsen with a home run, putting the Braves up 4-3 on the Cardinals in the 5th. Not running away from them. Austin Riley's had a stomach bug. Kind of been sick all day. Yes, Chiefs now tying at 7-7. Up and good.
All right, if anybody wants to call, we'll take a couple of calls. It's we're not going to stay super late tonight because Chase has to go get ready for his drive tomorrow. The phone number is up, 662-426-1464. Again, there's a ton of content up on the site, on our podcast network. So if you're driving to New Orleans and you need podcast entertainment, there's plenty. I did a 46-minute interview with Ben Mintz. That'll be up a little bit later this evening. You got this show. You've got our show with Jeffrey earlier today, the show with Pete Deweese, Chase's interview with Gary Smith, the butcher versus the dance instructor. So that ought to get you pretty much to New Orleans.
That'll do it. Yeah, it'll get you pretty much there. You put it all in a row, and you'll be in good shape by the time you.
Sip wants to know if you're playing golf tomorrow.
No, definitely not playing golf tomorrow. No,
God, that'd be hot.
No, God, no. I would be happy to turn down a tee time tomorrow. No, I'm no.
The part of this game that nobody has really talked about as much as they probably should is how hot it's going to be.
The depth is going to play a factor. Ole Miss having more depth by the end of this football game.
On that turf, 2:30 in the afternoon.
They have a turf that is better than normal. They actually purchased the same type of turf that's in AT&T Stadium in where the Cowboys play, where they had the Cotton Bowl. And it says that it's about 10 degrees cooler than a normal turf would be, but we're still talking really, really, really high temperatures there on that turf in this field. Like it's going to be a thing. So I think Ole Miss's depth in the second half will absolutely play in that. And I think it's offensive. I think it's defense. It's Tulane's defense getting worn out. It's losing sight of Judkins. It's a guy getting behind you. It's dart running. They're really worried about running quarterback on Saturday. They do not handle that well. None of the Caleb Williams things happens if John Rice Plumlee is healthy, because he would have run to death on Tulane in that conference title game last year. He was banged up. He couldn't run.
Trey Clark wants an update on what you're planning to wear Saturday. Are you wearing shorts? No shorts? What the decision has been made?
I had this conversation a little bit earlier today. Is that typically I would wear pants and a dress shirt or a polo, and I still might. I've been told I'm inside, but I kind of want complete verification of that prior to making this decision. No, I mean I'm not going to look like a hobo, but my hunch is I end up wearing shorts for the security of it, just in case.
I would,
because I mean,
who's judging?
Yeah, who are you impressing in that situation?
I mean, seriously, who?
And the worst thing possible is to put a pair of slacks on and they go, "Hey, look,
you're outside.
I'm going back to the hotel and we're going to reevaluate this." And then
because you're going to be outside at some point.
That's true.
I don't know what their post-game stuff is for visiting media. Probably not awesome.
Could be under a tent under the end zone for all I know. So, yeah, no, it's shorts and a polo.
And you want to get as close to Lane as you can, because he's not going to talk real loud after the game.
Had a really good day. Judkins dart.
He's gotten better about it.
Yeah, he's been fine the last couple of weeks. He's been all right.
Did you see where Saban apologized to the media?
I did.
And Lane took a...
Yeah, you okay, Coach?
Lane had his moment, yeah.
Yeah, from days before. Nick softened. He's a humanitarian.
Well, Shannon Terry got after him and then deleted the
Oh, did he really?
deleted the tweet.
Shannon went after Nick.
He did.
Ooh.
With the way he treated local media. It was like, come on.
Nick's actually one of the better ones with local media
really
all in.
Are we really going to be that soft?
Yeah, come on.
I know.
Really? Okay. Yeah, shorts and a salt life tee. That's it. That's what we're going to.
I think it's actually you could pull it off Saturday. I don't think anybody would care.
No matter what you got going on. We're all just trying to survive here,
That's
okay?
what I think.
We're all just
2:30 in September
in New
Orleans. I just don't think anyone cares. No, that is not the place to wear your best clothes. No, because you're going to sweat right through.
The humidity is yes. That is the answer. It's the humidity.
Yes, it's humid.
Yeah. So somebody answers like, hey, I know we're getting a little cooler snap here. Is the humidity going to be down there? It's like it's in a swamp. No, the humidity is not going to be down there. They had 100-degree days in August. Do you know what that felt like?
Yeah, I've been there. I've covered their camp in preseason.
Hotel rooms are cheaper during August and September because people just don't go down because it's so hot.
It's truly unmanageable in like July, August.
Yeah. So it'll be what it'll be. It's fine. The Lions are impressive. I mean, they're moving.
They're good. They finished the season as one of the better teams in the NFL. Yes, I don't know if anybody saw this. Bill Belichick got a question. It was a really well done question. It was a media lesson. The question was about, was it really necessary to have a roster spot dedicated to a snapper? Could you not cross-train other players and therefore free up the flexibility of that roster spot?
Yeah.
Bill Belichick gave a 9.5-minute answer that was basically the history of specialists in the NFL. That was incredibly well done, incredibly detailed. He thanked the person for asking the question. The questioner said, "Thank you, Bill. That was more detailed.
Far more than I
possibly could have ever imagined. More than I could have hoped for," I think is what he said. And Belichick said, "No, thank you for the question. That was very good." It was, but it showed you the level of detail that goes into assembling a roster and the level of detail that Bill Belichick puts into everything he does with the New England Patriots. It made me want to go, hey, give me the Patriots +4 on Sunday. I mean, it was an incredible answer that basically was a history of the National Football League.
From the coach who's the most gruff of any NFL coach in most press conferences.
But he got a football question.
He did.
And it was a good one. He goes, well, it's interesting. I think his name was Ben, the reporter. It's interesting, Ben. This is something we've talked about, over the course of time and long. And he's like, so here's where this was. He goes, it's kind of been a long and winding road. And then by God, he took him through the road. It was amazing. I watched it this morning and I was like, wow, that's incredible.
Wow.
It was a totally different sign of Bill Belichick. He talked about Danny White, Garo Yepremian. He did this history of stuff in the league. Tom Tupa.
Yeah.
I bet you don't remember Tom Tupa.
I mean, I know the name. Yeah. Sure.
Yeah. Danny White, when I was a kid, was the backup quarterback to Roger Staubach.
Sure.
But he was also the Cowboys punter. That doesn't happen anymore. And so Belichick explains why that doesn't happen anymore. Like, the value they put on plays. Yeah. The whole thing. It was really fascinating. All right, let me get you hooked up. Hey, who do we have? Hey,
it's Steve in Greenville.
Hey, Steve, what's up?
Hey, I'm just curious about something. Y'all are always talking about, you got Apple TV and Netflix. How many do y'all subscribe to? Just out of curiosity.
All right, I'll go first. I've got YouTube TV and Fubo.
And I've got Hulu TV as my main provider.
Okay. I subscribe to Max, which is like the former HBO.
Same.
Apple TV.
Same.
I
I subscribe to Showtime.
don't subscribe to Showtime.
You subscribe to Peacock,
Peacock,
which is NBC,
Paramount,
Netflix, Disney.
Yeah, we have the ABC, ESPN, Disney package bundle thingy.
The bundle. Might be it, unless that's at least like day to day the ones that I would be opening. Now there's probably more.
I think that's it, Steve. I think that's all I've got.
Was that more or less than you were expecting?
That's about what I was expecting. I was just curious. And tell Jeffrey next time he misses his ESPN or satellite cuts out, you can watch the games on YouTube for free.
There are some pirated ways to do that, yes.
Doesn't that make you nervous, though, when you're doing a pirated stream? Like you're you're just afraid that someone's going to be able to hack your computer.
Well, the good thing about it, if you look around, you can find the game without the announcers jibber-jabbering all the time. I feel like I'm in front of the drunk guy at the stadium. And because of the YouTube delay, it syncs up almost perfectly, not always, but almost perfectly with the radio broadcast.
Okay.
Well, that's not a bad. That's a handy thing then. Yeah. I'll buy it.
Yeah, I enjoy it. All right, guys, enjoy the show.
Steve, thank you for the call.
Next week. Bye.
I'm seeing here that Paramount gives you Showtime, so maybe I don't subscribe to Showtime directly. It's just through Paramount that I have access. Because Showtime's where I watch Your Honor, the Bryan Cranston series.
So we have Peacock for the soccer.
Yeah.
And we have Paramount for, I guess, the soccer too?
I don't know. Yeah.
And then I get the MLB package, and I get the NBA package.
And Sunday ticket.
Hold on. I'm getting to you. Hold on. Hey, who do we got? Hey, who's here?
Hey, guys, it's Austin.
Hey, what's up?
Oh, not much, guys. Just watching the game. Hey, so I got two quick questions to give you guys. One's an NFL question, one's college. So, quick question, start of the night. I kind of want to hear y'all's take about it. If you had to predict who's going to represent what conference in the Super Bowl right now and who's going to win it, who do you think? Go.
Well, both conferences will be represented in the Super Bowl. I'm kidding.
I've got Bengals and 49ers.
Oh.
Like it.
The NFC is such a mess. Like, I'm really having a hard time. There's no automatic, wow, yeah, that just makes total sense. I still put money on the Eagles, I think, to get back.
Okay.
Maybe it's because I don't like many other teams in the NFC. And then, yeah, I think I like Cincinnati too, actually. I'm kind of over Kansas City. The Bills have fallen off. I got to at least see something from the Jets or somebody like that before I really jump on that bandwagon. I think, as boring as it is, I think I'm in the same way on the AFC. And I have a hard time picking anybody that I like necessarily better for the Eagles 1v1. I would take the field versus the Eagles, obviously, but not necessarily 1v1.
What about you?
I'm kind of in the same boat with you guys. In the AFC, I really am thinking it's going to be somebody other than Kansas City. I think it's Buffalo because I think they're going to go all in this year because I think they know their window's closing. But I could easily see Cincinnati obviously Kansas City. In the NFC, I think it's the Eagles or bust. I just don't really see anybody other than the 49ers that's better than them. But that's what I'm thinking.
It's fair.
Yeah, it's fair.
So my other quick question, and this one, Chase, I heard your podcast with the guy from SMU. I forgot his name, but
Ray Washburn.
Gotcha. It was good, but it led me to think about this. So we played Tulane this weekend, and it got me thinking. Hypothetically, if you're the AD at a school like Tulane or Memphis or somewhere like that, when you're one of these upper end teams in a conference like the American or the Mountain West or something like that, would you do what SMU did? like, would you join one of these or ask to join one of these leagues to take no revenue, or do you think that's going to work out?
SMU is such a singular case because of the money they have built up that's willing to go to this. I mean, this is a booster in that story that I think Dellinger wrote, basically going, it's only a couple $100 million. I'm not going to lose sleep over it. I mean, it's why SMU is so intriguing to me, is that they, in the 80s, cared as much as damn near anybody. That era is gone, but the new set of boosters, they're willing to at least get them into this league because it's the only chance they have. It's all they got. They had one lane and said, this is what's going to cost, and do you want to do it? There's just not the buy-in athletically from so many of these other schools that would be able to ever pull that off. I mean, you're talking about getting a group together that's willing to just simply fund a football program because you like a football program for hundreds of millions of dollars for a chance. And I just, the typical Mountain West school doesn't have that kind of pocket sitting there ready to go. Tulane doesn't. I mean, Tulane talks about it. I mean, they, from a fan base standpoint, they're just trying to get people energized in athletics, period. I mean, they're a lot like Vanderbilt. Their people don't stay close by. It's one of the things SMU has, too, is that a lot of their boosters stay in the Metroplex. So they're still invested in the community. I mean, the guy I talked to was from Highland Park High School. Ole Miss could have used him remaining a Rebel, by the way. He went to Ole Miss for his freshman year of college before transferring to SMU. That probably would have helped the athletic department down the road.
Probably would have been good.
Sure. I mean, yes, if that was a possibility, no doubt. But I just think it's a very, it's a very unique situation that they're able to fund that.
I got you. Well, Chase, be safe getting down there. Hope y'all have a good weekend. Talk to y'all soon.
Sounds good.
Appreciate you.
Yeah, I mean, I saw that quote from Dellinger and just kind of laughed and went, yeah, okay. Look, they got the cash. How they want to use it's up to them. Yeah, they got it. So we'll see.
If you've got it, go for it.
However you want to use it.
I mean, so they're gambling that they're going to be relevant.
Yeah. I think Neal's going to keep watching. I'm packing up. Take some calls, I guess, if you're still hanging around.
I'll hang around for a couple minutes and take some calls if you guys want to call. Chase has to get ready to go in, so I'll hang out for a little while.
Coverage from New Orleans obviously is signing off on this. Neal will run through all the different things, including Ben Mintz again coming up later. You got plenty on the way to New Orleans. One more written content item to go to prior to Ole Miss and Tulane there on 2:30 on Saturday. So. Anyway, I will be on the post game, sure. I mean, there's no reason why not at that point. So, y'all have fun.
Safe travels. All right, so I'll hang out with you guys if you want to call. If you don't want to call, it's okay. I'll hang out for a few minutes. I'll take your questions in the thread, and then we can kind of go from there. Let's see. Are the TVs the same size? Someone asked. I don't know. I don't think they're exactly the same size. They're different TVs because I didn't plan on this as much as it all sort of happened. Some of this sort of got thrown together over time, and so I don't know. I know there are people that are sort of triggered by the lack of asymmetry or symmetry, I should say, but it's okay. I normally would be triggered by that, but I'm not particularly triggered. Let's see. What happens if the funding doesn't work out? Can a college file for bankruptcy? It's a great question. I don't know. In pro sports, you're on the hook for the contracts.
A private school would have to, because they don't have any kind of government funding that would be able to do that. But look at the California public schools; they're all in from the government anyway. Cal and a ton of those state schools, they're completely cash strapped and just getting subsidies and money to even stay afloat. I mean, it's why their athletic departments don't have any cash as it is.
So they could file for bankruptcy, I suppose. Let's see. Ben says, Neal, what do the Cardinals do with Kyler Murray when they're trying to tank for Caleb? I'm assuming that they would like to move him. They'd like to trade him and get some value for him. But, man, I don't know how that works. Let's see. Sipreb says, so how pumped were you on fixing the sound? Carson going to get his gear. I was really pumped. Sammy has sent me a thing telling Carson to send him a link to whatever Chelsea kit that he wants the most. Yeah, I was pretty pumped. There was this moment of voila that was pretty cool, that Carson was in here and there was a screen that popped up that I'd never seen before. And I was like, whoa, what was that? And he'd already moved on from it. And then we had to get back to it. And yeah, it was pretty cool to realize, oh, I think that's it. And then to kind of click that button and then wait for a little bit and realize that it was gone was pretty big relief. It's pretty fun. It was cool that he was in here for it too. And we had a good laugh about it, two of us, because he was in here earlier today. I interviewed Ben Mintz, and I was editing the audio, and I was putting the Jackson Dart, hey, this is Jackson Dart, you're listening to MPW Digital, whatever. I was putting that together, and I was he was watching me edit the audio, and I could tell he was sort of impressed that I could edit audio at that level, because he's like, so you can do that, but you struggle to switch from Netflix to Hulu. And I was like, hey, man, one thing at a time. One thing at a time. Alexandra says, Neal, y'all have the fanciest setup I've ever seen for live streaming sports. Yeah, thank you first of all. I don't know that it's fancy. It's one of those things that when we set it up, I don't know. This whole thing is like an evolving thing that we still try to figure it out. And like we went down the road with a different kind of post-game show for a little while this summer, and that kind of didn't work out. And we always are trying to figure out what's the best balance of print versus audio/video and all of that stuff. And man, I don't know that I know the answer at this point, but we try to bring a lot of different content, because I think that's the future. I was having this conversation with someone who covers Georgia today, and we were talking about the fact that you can't any longer be a one-dimensional. We talk about one-dimensional football teams. You can't be a one-dimensional media outlet. You have to be a multi-dimensional media outlet to thrive, and that's what we've tried to do. Mitchell says, so what was it? It was a eCam issue with YouTube, where eCam and YouTube were communicating with one another, and there was confusion, and eCam was trying to send notifications to YouTube, and I had to turn that off, and I didn't know how to do that. Bobblefish says, Neal, does Bellinger re-sign with the Cubs next year? This is slightly educated when I say this. Yes. I think he's going to sign a 5-year deal with a couple of options that are mutual options. I suspect he's going to get somewhere in the $30 million per year range with a buyout on the options. And I think that he's happy in Chicago. I know that the Cubs are very happy with him. And I think that they're going to make him a very highly paid player. So, yeah, I anticipate that he will be a Cub. The only thing that could change with that is that all it takes is one team just to go blow the market to hell and offer him 9 years, $40 million a year, and then he's going to take that, because I mean, who wouldn't take that kind of money? And the Cubs would be crazy to commit that level of money to him. But I think the Cubs want to pay him. I think they're going to make him. The face of their franchise. They really like him. He really likes them. He just got married. He seems to be happy in the city and all of those things. So my gut feeling is that, yes, he'll be a Cub. Let's see. Taylor says, Neal, have you read the deep dive on Justin Steele? I've read a whole lot about Justin Steele. He says I think he deserves the Cy Young. So I think the Cy Young is going to come down to him or Spencer Strider with the Braves, and it might just be determined on what happens here in the last, month of the season, last 3 weeks of the season. The season has 3 weeks left. Justin Steele's a Mississippi kid who's just had a phenomenal season for the Cubs. He's been terrific, and Right now today, I think he would deserve the Cy Young. Austin, thank you for the super chat. He says, here's a political question. If I told you that the Republican nominee isn't Donald Trump for whatever reason, who would you say it is? Okay. My gut answer today, now this is going to change probably because there's going to be more debates and whatnot. My answer today would be Nikki Haley. She's the one that, if you look at the polling data, she's the one that has the highest numbers in scenarios where Trump's not involved. You'll see polling data from legitimate polling agencies where if Donald Trump weren't a possibility, who would you be willing to vote for? And the biggest number is Haley. Common sense says DeSantis, but he just can't seem to get the traction with, kind of the middle of the road voter that you thought he would get. But again, it's early. It's September. There's going to be more debates. There's obviously all of Trump's court stuff. I tell you what I'm watching with some interest right now is the Biden part of this, because it feels like with Biden, the Democrats are starting to not panic, but think about, hey, we need to have some options here. Because there was some recent polling. I want to say it was New York Times. I was reading it today. Biden has lost some serious leverage with non-white voters, black, brown voters. And the last election was pretty close. And if Biden loses a lot of support around the edges, it's hard for him to win. And he's either tied with or behind almost every candidate in some of the latest polling. That has to freak the Democrats out a little bit. Let's see. I probably missed something. Haley not as a VP. I don't know if it holds and Trump gets the nomination. I have no idea who his running mate would be. I think the Republicans would be smart to make the running mate thing a big part of the campaign. Because the truth is, for as unpopular as Biden may be, Kamala Harris is even more unpopular. And Biden's 82 when he gets reelected, if he were reelected. So it means he's 86 at the end of a second term. There was a Nate Silver with what used to be 539 came out with something that be a like an 11% chance that Joe Biden would die in a second term of natural causes. And so that's more than 1 out of 10. Would you be, what's your thoughts on Kamala Harris as president? Most people don't like the idea of Kamala Harris as president. She does not poll well at all. So the Republicans would be smart to make that a big part of the election cycle. What about Vivek? I don't know. He feels like I don't know. There's something about him that just sort of feels contrived. Trey Clark says, how do you and Chase split going to away games? When would y'all both go? Just curious. He wanted to go to New Orleans. Obviously, he has one of his very best friends lives in New Orleans. There's a birthday party, all of that stuff. So he wanted to go, and I was like, that's cool, go. We haven't decided who's going to go to Alabama in 2 weeks or if anyone's going to go. Maybe we stay here and cover it from here and do a big show after the game. A lot of that might depend on the time. And then they go to Auburn. We haven't decided anything about that. We haven't decided anything about Georgia. Kind of depends on what the record is, what the season is at that point. Last year, I just went to most of the games, and he stayed and did the show. Again, it's that whole thing of it's just super hard to kind of figure out what's the best way to do it, where it makes sense for us and it makes sense for our readers and our viewers. And it's kind of a balancing act that we're kind of always working to balance. Not getting into all that. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm not getting the whole World Economic Forum thing. I'm not sure I completely understand that. Again, the phone line's open if anybody wants to call. If you don't, that's perfectly fine. There's a lot of content up at the site, a lot of content at MPW as well. The Lions and Chiefs approaching halftime. Tied at 7, a little more than a minute to go before the half. Let's see. Siprub says need to get Carson on for basketball this year. I'd love to do that with him. I'm afraid that his friends would beat him up to the point that he wouldn't want to do it. That's the reason that I have a suspicion that, like yesterday, if you looked at him on the screen, he really didn't want his face shown. And I think that's just 16, soon to be 17-year-old boy. Chase left because he's got to get ready to go to New Orleans tomorrow. So he went ahead and left. He stayed for the first hour and 15 minutes, which is fine. Charles says spend that YouTube money on a permanent spot in the Manning Center to do post game. Here's the thing. We just don't make a lot of money off YouTube at all. It's YouTube's hard to really monetize. Just the way that works. It's just kind of, unless you have a ton of super chat, it just doesn't work. My wife just sent me a text kind of giving me hell for still going. So I should make her come up here and join the show. She would not like that. She's probably mad at me for even saying the words. All right, it's 8:30, so we'll probably wrap it up there. Appreciate what I switched to Twitter. I've thought about it. We've talked about Twitter, about how to make that work. That is a conversation that we've had. We're watching that. That's one of the things we watch for sure. All right, it's 8:30, so we'll wrap it up there. We'll call it a show. Hope you guys enjoy your evening. Hope you enjoy the rest of your weekend. We'll be back on Sunday, and it's not Sunday, Saturday evening. We'll have the MPW Digital postgame show presented by Dead Soxy. I'll host it. Jeffrey Wright will join. Brian Rippey will join. I'll get Pete DeWeese on, and then we'll get Chase on before we wrap. On Saturday evening, we'll turn Alabama, Texas on, whatever other games on, and have a little fun. Talk about Ole Miss and Tulane, 2:30 on Saturday. Again, tons of content up at the site. Neal's Picks, presented by Service Specialist. That's up on rebelgrove.com. And then tons of podcast stuff. The Butcher versus the Dance Instructor, presented by LB's Meat Market, is up. Pete's Pigskin Preview, presented by Riverland Roofing, is up as well. Chase has a interview with Gary Smith, who covers Tulane for NOLA.com. And I'll have my conversation with Ben Mintz of Barstool Sports up momentarily as well. That's going to air here in a little bit. Yeah, I'll push the Mintz video up earlier. It's scheduled for 10. I'll move it up here in just a minute as well. So again, thanks to all the people at Comer and Southern for sponsoring our show. We really appreciate them making us a part of what they do. Thanks to everyone in the stream. Thanks for everyone who called in. And we'll talk to you guys again on Saturday. Until then, take care.